President Trump has announced that the US has struck another vessel accused of carrying drugs in the waters near Venezuela, killing 6 people.
This is now the 5th such strike against alleged drug traffickers, whom the Trump administration calls unlawful combatants. The president wrote in part on Truth Social, quote, "Intelligence confirmed the vessel was trafficking narcotics, was associated with illicit narco-terrorist networks, and was transiting along a known DTO route. The strike was conducted in international waters, and 6 male narco-terrorists aboard the vessel were killed in the strike. No U.S. forces were harmed." Thank you for your attention to this matter.
Some are sounding the alarm over the Trump administration not going through Congress first to conduct these kinds of strikes. California Senator Adam Schiff wrote on X, "The president's authorities under Article 2 are limited to responding to an armed attack or the threat of an imminent armed attack and do not apply here. These continued strikes, 27 killed to date, risk getting the US into a full-fledged war." Senator Tim Kaine and I forced a bipartisan vote to block these strikes last week. If they continue, we will do so again. I think we have different views on this matter, but I do want to say that in addition to Adam Schiff, Rand Paul, Republican senator from Kentucky, has been very much to the fore in criticizing these kind of actions and in strongly arguing that the administration, the president, need congressional authorization. And I think he's right about that. I don't like this sense that we can just go around blowing boats out of the water on the word of the president or the word of the Secretary of Defense or Secretary of War, if you want to call him that. I think that is, just obvious lawlessness that is becoming more normalized, but I think you have a different view, perhaps.
Yeah, I mean, I view these as terrorist organizations, which of course the president has designated them as, and I think that one of the arguments in favor of this would be that when Adam Schiff brings up the idea that you can only do these kinds of strikes to defend from an imminent attack, that the drug crisis that we have in this country and the amount of dead American bodies that we have because of these narco-terrorists is an imminent attack, them trafficking these drugs through international waters. But I will give Senator Rand Paul this. He's been incredibly consistent on his views of the president's needing congressional authority to conduct certain types of foreign policy. He was saying it during the Obama administration with the endless drone strikes, and he's saying it now with the strikes from the narco-terrorist boats. So I think he's at least logically consistent.
Yeah, he is. I mean, I sometimes agree with him, sometimes disagree with him, but I think he genuinely holds to his principles in these matters. I think that my view or difference with the view that you have just expressed is the idea that which you're positing, that the importation of drugs by individuals, cartels, is an act of war. I just don't think that that is how we have typically defined acts of war. I don't think it therefore really runs here. But let's say hypothetically one accepts that premise. The proof that has been provided in these cases is still very, very scant. I think there was one instance where there was an argument that there had been cocaine found in the waters around a boat. Otherwise, it's just basically take our word for it. And I have huge difficulties with that.
Yeah, I understand that. And obviously it would be difficult for them to release information that could lead to the disclosure of confidential sources and methods or intelligence procedures that allowed them to determine that these individuals were in fact trafficking drugs and were part of a terrorist or cartel group. But I do think when looking at cartels as terrorist organizations, you do have to look at the totality of the circumstances and what these organizations do, which is not just selling drugs or trafficking drugs, but also human trafficking at the southern border. The cartels effectively control the entire Mexican side of the southern border that it shares with the U.S. They decide who goes through. I've talked to numerous immigration experts, people who live on the border about this. They have made very clear that you do not get to pass into the U.S. unless you pay the cartel or the cartel gives you permission. So they are acting basically as a state actor in that way. And they also, of course, get involved in politics with the way that they kill their political opponents, they pay off the government. So to me, the totality of the circumstances there is what renders them designated as terrorist organizations.
Yeah, I just don't agree that can be seen as a state actor. And in fact, there was an intelligence analysis earlier this year from the Trump administration that cast doubt on how much the Maduro government was cooperating with them.
Well, we will certainly keep an eye on it, continue to have that debate. The State Department says it is revoking visas of foreign nationals who celebrated the murder of Charlie Kirk. But the move is raising questions from some about free speech. Stick around.